slept 3 hours. It's now 9 a.m. I'm talking in 1 hour. Take a quick breakfast. Slept at 5 a.m. Fuck. We just arrived. Ready. So for us, this is jump starting. We're starting here as a panelist here in Cape Verde. Soon you'll see us in the big conferences, CD Baby, Womex, absolutely, Falls, and everything else.
So I will leave the guys introduce themselves and we can start the panel. Thank you, have a great time.
Bom dia! Bom dia! My name is Banzi Viewers. I'm going to fluctuate between Creole and English. So I'm a DJ. I'm also the co-founder of an entertainment company called Kizomba here in Praia. And today I'm here to moderate these gentlemen. So I'll just, if you could quickly introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your journey and your brand per se, and then we'll follow up with some questions.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kaysha. I'm a porn star. And okay, now we're ready. My name is Kaysha.
Broke, yeah, I see broken. Whatever he says, okay. That's not okay.
So, I used to be a rapper. Then I was a singer. Then I started producing records. Then I started doing digital strategy. I'm a cook too, at home. And a porn star. And what else? Future president of one country.
Bon dia. It's strange for me to speak in English in Cabo Verde, but I see that we have a very diverse public, so let's do this in English. My name is Nelson Freitas, born in Holland, the Netherlands. Parents are from Cabo Verde, Sunny Cloud, and I've been in music for a minute. I was in a group called Quattro. We did 4 albums, and then I went solo in 2006. And right now, I've done already 4 albums, working on my 5th studio album right now. And we're here to talk about digital marketing, which is very, very, very important at this stage. Kaysha is an important brother, an important tool for me. I've learned a lot with Mr. K right here. And then we have, obviously, Nick, which is super important for whatever we're doing now and going on to the future. Then we have our little brother here, Djodje, the golden child, who is still younger than us, but he's gonna do so much more in the future. He's the perfect example of what's happening now. So, yeah. I'll let him speak about that even more. My name is Nelson Freitas.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Djodje, as Nelson said. First of all, don't mind my English. I'm not that good. Yeah, I'm from Praia. I was born here. I've been living in Portugal for almost 10 years. I've been in the music industry since 2001 or 2000. Started early, so I hope to have something to add in your with your questions. Okay, Nick, it's up to you.
Thank you, my friend. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Pinhero, also of Cape Verdean descent. My parents were born here in Cape Verde. My father in Brava, my mother in São Vicente.
I was born in the United States. I am a cloud architect to the Americas for Microsoft and a strategic partner to Facebook. For Microsoft, specifically what I do is work on some of the most challenging projects facing not just the Americas but the world. Some being Rio Olympics, Real Madrid and their fan base, 450 million fans, as well as many projects for the Fortune 50 and the Fortune 100, and some of the most challenging data-based issues that are facing the world, some of that being artificial intelligence and what we're moving towards today. In addition to that, I work extremely closely with my man Nelson Freitas. We've been working together for a number of years as it relates to his, not just his career, but how we strategize with digital marketing in relation to his brand overall. And together, all four of us here hope to do a number of things in the future, which will be even more impactful. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for Atlantic Music Expo. Thank you for Gugas Vega and LOD. This started off with an idea of a comment on social media that Gugas had. And the schedules, the 4 schedules you see here are very, very demanding. So it's amazing to have us all here on one stage. So thank you guys for doing that.
So give it up. And it's great to see so much going on. And that's just amazing for all of us to be here present. So we all know that in terms of music, it has evolved throughout time, even the way you consume it, from a physical cassette to a vinyl, till now that you have music on data, on cloud, that you can easily download it and have it on your phone. And that has also changed the way you promote your music, and the way you reach your audience, and the way you reach your fan base. So can you give us a little bit of the background of what you have done and how you have adopted the way you promote your music, the way you promote your brand, to your audience, to your public?
So if everybody touched their pocket here or there, they all have a cell phone, right? And this cell phone is the window to the world. Back in the days, it used to be simpler, but at the same time, more exclusive too. You used to need to be on a label, have an A&R, be on the radio, have the radio accept to play your songs, then have the TV accept, and you had 1 or 2 TVs that would accept, especially with our music. Maybe you had access to 1 channel that would play your music videos, and from there you would have to manufacture it, CDs, cassettes, or vinyl, depending on when at that time. You would have to do the right number of CDs.
You were
right?
limited to the number you produced.
Because you didn't know, and then you would have to transport these CDs where you want to sell them. And you would have to know more or less how many people are there willing to buy your stuff. And so if you would build too much CDs, then you would have too much stock. If you would build not enough, you would lose money.
Missed opportunity.
Exactly. And sometimes you would have fans saying, oh, I'm in Holland, or I'm in Brazil, I love your music, I can't find your CD. And this was a real problem for me early on. I'm talking about 20 years ago, when my frustration was that I wanted my music in the hands of everybody. And the internet created the solution for this and other problems, because with the rise of the internet and the fact that everybody now is a potential customer, a potential listener to your music, at the same time, you have so much music going on, so much people who have ideas, art, something to say, that we are now faced with a new problem, which is that the customer is also your competition. Because the most valuable thing that is now is not even the art or it's the time. And you have 24 hours in one day. And in these 24 hours, people are consuming content. Okay. Music is content. The images that people post on Instagram or Facebook is content. The tweets, everything that people post on the social media is content, and this content is consuming time. So when somebody goes on YouTube and watch 3 hours of videos, or Netflix and after go to Netflix, watch, I don't know, 3 or 2 hours of series, and they spend 5 hours. So there's only the rest left, right?
So you would agree then the internet has made the platform available for everyone, therefore it's all about how you differentiate with your content.
So what's the solution to this is the brand. What you need is that in these 24 hours, when the people are consuming content from all around the world, because if you log into YouTube, or you go to Spotify to listen to music, or you go to YouTube to listen to music, or you go to Netflix to watch something, or any other social network, you go to Facebook to watch videos, to see what your friends are saying, this is time that you're spending. This time is limited, because at the point you have to go to sleep, if you sleep. The question is, why your or my content and not somebody else? And this is where the branding comes. You want the people, when they think about, I want to listen to some music, they have to think about your brand. It's the same thing as when between 2 episodes of a series, you have somebody drinking Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola. It's so that when you want to drink something, this is when you think about this. This is what branding is.
On a subconscious level. I would like to take your take on this, Nick, because I think you come from a different background as far as perspective.
So I'll start by kind of taking the highest level view we can take at the term digital marketing, right? That's the name of the session, so we want to kind of understand what is really meant by that. It's a very, very broad term. It's what we refer to in the technology industry as an umbrella term. Right, so there is no one thing that defines digital marketing. It's a subset of focus areas that collectively intertwine into that term. So those areas, for example, are social media marketing, as Kaysha said, content marketing, which is one of the most important. Search engine optimization and search engine marketing as well. Another thing that we like to do is data-driven marketing, and I'll speak to that a little bit in depth. That is the most difficult of all of the areas below that particular umbrella, and there's a reason for that. And Bonzi, if I can, I'll actually dive deep into that right now. Is that okay? Let me give you guys a particular example of what we call a use case of how we use data-driven marketing today in Nelson's career. One thing that we've attempted to do over the past 6-7 years is not only continue to broaden Nelson's core market, but also to branch outside of that. Not just outside, obviously, Cape Verde, outside of Europe, outside of Africa, but then to penetrate into areas such as the United States, such as the Americas as a whole. And as everyone knows, that's the most difficult area to penetrate into. I believe there's a session coming up on that. So one thing that we do when we're looking at specific markets, right? So about last year, we did a show, a big concert at Olympia in Paris. And that's a market where Nelson, his brand is known, but not as impactful maybe as in a Portugal or a Cape Verde or some other countries within Europe. So what we began doing was an approach where we call targeting and retargeting, utilizing what's called ethical bribes. So what's an ethical bribe? Ethical bribe. It means it's a bribe that's okay, right? So it's okay to do it. And what we do there is a process of really extracting and identifying who are the true fans in that specific region. So what we did, for example, is we took one of his songs from his recent album, remixed it, and released it for free. Released it for free, but behind, for example, Facebook login and other various identity authenticators, right? So we immediately extracted all the user data of everyone that came in to download that music. We also put a certain amount of funds for social media marketing, search engine optimization marketing, to boost that, to increase the amount that we could possibly extract. As we did that, we then began to identify, okay, this person went all the way, and we also targeted the market just to the circumference of France, pinpointing Paris, and maybe a 50-mile radius from where the actual venue was going to be. Then we were able to identify, okay, these individuals are those who are really fanatic, right, which is where the term fan comes from, and went all the way to the point of downloading it, right? So we took them through what we call a marketing and sales funnel, drove them down and understood exactly where in the funnel did they stop, or did they go all the way in. If they went all the way in and downloaded, immediately we began retargeting with ads for the concert. We probably had over 100,000 downloads from that particular region. That particular venue by a Cape Verdean artist had never been sold out. Cesalia was the only other one who had performed there. I believe in the past it was a great turnout, but it hadn't sold out. So we knew what we had from previous knowledge of what we were facing. We sold out the venue using specifically data-driven marketing. And the reason why I bring up data-driven marketing even more so, I'm sure everybody's been watching the news and what happened with Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg going in front of Congress. But I want everyone to understand, when we talk about your data, you're in control of your data. So in actuality, just in a high-level summary, what happened there was nothing that was incorrect. That's needed to happen. That's a process that we're going through in what we call growing pains. The world needs this to happen. As we move more towards artificial intelligence, which this is an example of, right? We were using artificial intelligence to identify those individuals who were most likely to attend the concert and to sell that out, using the data that they provided us. So, in summary, this is just an approach that is the most difficult approach because, you know, like, I like to use this reference, DJ Khaled likes to say, they don't want you to blank, right? Facebook doesn't want you to have that data. Microsoft doesn't want you to have that data. That's how the Fabulous Five, Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, I'm forgetting one, have reached their billion-dollar market caps, right? Their multi-billion-dollar market caps. It's based off of the data. Data is the new currency. So if there's anything that I personally want you guys to take home today, is the fact that you should be focusing in as much as absolutely possible in extracting that physical data from these platforms. Again, it's the most challenging, and there's a reason for that. So moving forward, keep that in mind, because as the algorithms begin to mature, you'll note that the actual visibility you're getting is going to become even more and more minimal. We have a Nelson who has 1 million followers on Facebook. But what does that mean, right? What does that actually mean? How much visibility do you actually get in the newsfeed? A small 0.01% of that. You do not own that. I just want to make sure people understand that. Facebook can modify that algorithm at any given point in time. You lose your visibility. You don't own that. With all the time, passion, energy, and funding you put into your career, you need to own every element of it that you can. So I'll stop there for now.
Well, thank you.
Have that problem.
To sum up in one sentence everything is said, content is king, data is queen.
Great. Well said. So Nelson, obviously you have this established partnership with Nick, and I've been following the work you guys put out. So for you as an artist, when you took notice of this necessity to have a well put together digital presence, what was the difference and what was the mindset around it and what you needed to create so that an audience can consume or audience can go and buy tickets for your shows or your merchandising? What was that process like, and when was the time that you was like, this is the way I need to go, this is where I need to tackle?
Wow, simply for me it was a question of surviving this industry. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen artists come and go, literally, like from my genre. No need to name names, but I've seen a lot of artists come and go. And we've been through a transition. We've been through a transition of having physical CDs to digital, and a lot of artists just died right there. And honestly, Kaysha has been a really important factor in my career around that time. Because Kay was already way up there in terms of digital. And I always went to Kay, listen man, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this and that? And Kaysha helped me a lot in that. So the point was, how do I survive this industry? Like, if you're an artist who's coming now, imagine your name is Jean-Claude, whatever. You're starting now, this artist can have 800,000 or 1 million followers just like that. Because he's from this age, right now. Me, I'm coming from 20 years ago. How do I still get the access, still get the interest of all these young people? How do you do that?
And be relevant.
And be relevant. So the struggle is that. And that's what I've been balancing. It's like, okay, I have a career already, but how do I maintain the career? How do I still get access to the young kids? Because I don't do what these young kids are doing anymore, but I still want to be relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's the key right there, and that's where the digital marketing come in place, and that's the mind. It's like a struggle. It's a struggle, but it's a struggle you need to go through. You need to want to go through in order to stay relevant and alive as an artist. And that's where, like, Nick comes in place.
Well, you're definitely doing a good job.
Thank you.
I will follow up with Djodje. So Djodje, you are the new generation, and
Not that new, but
well,
I'm younger than them, yes, for sure.
But well, at least in a sense of they said it. That you
Djodje is the perfect example for me.
Okay.
He's the younger generation, one from there.
Yeah.
I mean, doing this thing.
So, if anything,
Kind of, because
the
as a kid, he was already.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
if anything, like social networking is it's our language now.
Yeah.
Perhaps me, it's our language, and a little bit about me. That's my currency. That's how I promote the stuff I do, and I see that in you too as well. And your stories is interesting because you came from here, from Praia, and now you live in Portugal, and obviously there's a big following here. How do you use that following that you have here and based in Portugal to expand and go to other markets? Because I feel like this is a joint venture.
Yeah.
All of us are in this together. So you, as a reference to it all, how do you see yourself in the future, and how are you preparing or placing, and what could you learn from our mistakes?
For me, the thing is, I started here back in 2001, 2000. My music career started when the industry was changing, was collapsing, yes. But I still had the experience of doing physical albums and try to sell them. And for us that used to live in Cape Verde, we have to have somebody in Portugal or in France that would go to the factory to make the CDs, and then you have to know somebody to send them. Okay, it was very problematic, yes, to bring your music, even if it's to a small number of people, which is the Cape Verdean market. So, but while that was happening, high five was happening.
Oh.
Internet was happening, you know? So, yeah.
So you're not that.
Yeah, I know high five. Yes.
So you're not that young.
Yeah.
And he was using very young to talk to little girls.
Yeah, so, yeah, internet was happening here, and in Cape Verde, imagine. If in Portugal, when I went to Portugal in 2007, the internet was not unlimited. Now imagine here in Cape Verde. And while high five was happening, for me as a musician, Napster was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see it because I was too young. Imagine, for me, I was doing CDs and tried to sell them, but I was happy with Napster. I was like, oh my God, I can have this and that, but I wasn't see that my product was already started to get up. So when I got to Portugal, I have the same struggle because the market in Portugal was changing too. But in 4 or 5 years, for me, when Google said, okay, we want you to talk about digital marketing, the first thing that came to my mind was social network. I started understanding that I'm a product of the internet. The first time somebody told me this was 4 years ago. Yeah, you are an internet artist. I was shocked. No, I didn't want that because I was struggling day by day in the street, like trying to reach real people. And then I said, no, I went to see my data, see, okay, who's following you, and the things were starting to grow on the internet. So I kept that. I said, okay, I am an internet product, and I will use that to reach people for real. So the fact that for me the Coliseu sold out because Cape Verde was with me. We had people coming from Cape Verde, from all the diaspora, from USA, France.
Following on what Djodje has mentioned, how he caters and he brings the nation with him to a show in the diaspora, which is, I think, is the 12th island. How do you go about creating a buzz? And I know you're a big vlogger on YouTube. How do you go about creating your buzz, about connecting the dots? Not only your audience expands outside of Cape Verde as well, in African countries, and you've been at it for a while. What is your process?
So, contrary to George or Nelson, who they bring their country with them and they have the support of the country, I'm always the outsider everywhere I go. Because I was born in Kinshasa, Congo, and I left when I was 7 years old to live in France. So, from the beginning, I was always trying to become #1 in countries that were not my country. So I could not say, oh, all the Congolese, let's go, because there was nobody. My first hit was in Guadeloupe and Martinique in the West Indies, in the Zouk world, where there's no Congolese. It was just me. So if I say, let's go! So my strategy was, I'm from nowhere. I'm just a musician. I'm doing art, and art has no passport. Art is for everybody. This was my strategy. So whenever somebody would tell me, where are you from? I would say I'm from China. And I did this for 10 years. When my first album came out, there was no indication of where I was from. And I got #1. I sold 100,000 CDs in France and the West Indies. And that was my first hit. It was Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Guyana, which is north of South America. And singing in English in French-speaking countries. My second huge hit was in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. It's a song called Kaysha, and it was a mix of Mapuka, which is a Ivory Coast rhythm. I mixed this with hip-hop and Congolese music. And this became so big in Ivory Coast that it starts spiraling to all Africa. And then, after everybody believing that I was from the West Indies, everybody stopped believing that I was from Ivory Coast. It was like, yeah, he's ours. And then the Congolese start waking up. No, it's ours. And me, I was replying to nobody. Every time somebody would tell me in an interview, where are you from? I would say I'm from China. And I'm a musician, I don't have a nationality because I want to reach everybody. I don't want people to feel, back then it was different, but because today, when you say I'm from somewhere, you can have all the people that are from your nationality all around the world look at their phone and say, oh, and they can follow you from everywhere. But I'm talking about the time where you just hear you and your box of CDs and you need to sell them to people. And the people, they need to feel included. So very early on, every time I would do an album, I would pick one song that would be a hit, and I would put it for free on Kaysha.com. So I have my website since '96. And I would just go create a link and i5, MySpace, Facebook, whatever was a social network back at the time, I would put a link to one song for free so I could have a hit on the radios and everybody would play it, and that would create the excitation for the album. In 2004, I had another hit called One Love. And this one was in English, a mix Zouk and pop. When I was in the West Indies, people called me the king of Zouk. Okay. Then I was in Ivory Coast, people called me the king of Afrobeat. I was like, okay. Now I do a Zouk song with
pop. And I arrive in Portugal, and people call me the king of Kizomba. I'm like, what? But why? And why would everybody accept me? It's because they would not see me as a stranger. They would just see me as a guy who's making music. And so everywhere I go, I'm always the outsider. I've been here performing in festivals where everybody's Cabo Verdean and I'm the Congolese guy. I still rock it and the people still love me because wherever I go, I feel like I'm from here. When I arrive, I'm from here.
So you are a global citizen?
I'm a global citizen. I've always been a Pan-Africanist. I've always been about union. And I understand that in this world, people need to stick together to be a strong force. But my vision is that if we stick together as continents or just as music fans, I think today when you create a brand, you also have to create your community. And some people will create a community around their nationality. I create communities around people who like my music, and then I do synergies of contents. For example, I vlog. I put out vlogs where I film my daily life, my family, me in the studio, everything since since YouTube started. So in 2006, I write on YouTube, and I have almost 100,000 followers on my YouTube channel. And every 2 or 3 days, I put a video about what I do, what I'm recording, what I think. I ask them, what do you think? What do you like? I look at the comments, I have the data, I know who's watching my video, where. And I use this to continuously have a brand that is always in motion. And then you can use all your brands, because you can be many brands. You can even do association with brands. Look at this, for example. It's a stylist called Zani. I've been introduced to her 2 days ago, and I had an idea of a suit, and I put it here, so now you can see it, and you might be interested in this brand, and this might be beneficial for that brand. But that's beneficial to me too, because when they will post photos of me wearing their brand, maybe somebody who will see, who's this handsome guy wearing this jacket?
Who's the porn star?
Who's the porn star? Then there will be, hey, then they will look at the tag, arrive on my Instagram, and see me chilling, and then they'll be, oh, I like him, I like the vibe, I like the positivity that radiates from him. And then after maybe 1 month, they'll be like, oh, he does music? And then they listen to your music, because everything is content today, like I was saying in the beginning. It can be a post on Instagram, it can be something you say on Twitter, or wherever you go. It can be even WhatsApp now. WhatsApp groups now are the new social media. It's always changing. But the most important is that once you understand that the content is the king, whatever content you put is valuable, and the goal is not to sell everything all the time. The goal is to nurture your brand all the time with humor, positivity, the messages, how you want people to see how you portray yourself. And then after maybe 100 posts, you have something to sell. And then the people who love you for anything else can, out of time, listen to your music just because they like you. And this is what I was saying earlier, is that now that everybody can make music, and people are flooded with content. You know, when I wake up, I'm a normal guy. I wake up, I stand up, I go pee, right? Then I go back to bed, I wonder about life. Then I take my phone, right? And I start doing what all the drug addicts that we are doing. But then if you do this every day, you forget everything. When you see an amazing photo of a mountain, you will see another amazing photo of the mountain tomorrow, and another one the next day. So you forget the first one after 10 days. And it's the same thing for pictures of beautiful kids, beautiful girls, beautiful guys with nice suits, whatever. It's just content, and the content is passing. And because it's passing, we start to have very short memories. And it's even worse. When I wake up in bed, So I'm a normal guy. So when I think my wife is a normal girl. So when I wake up, I look at her, and before she says hello, she wakes up and she's like, and I'm like, what the hell? You don't pee? She pees after Instagram, after Facebook, after WhatsApp, after calling her best friend. That's what after she's like, then she look at her our baby. She's like, you want to eat? And if the people are like this, you have to understand that if people are always seeing content that is passing, why me? Why him? Why him? Why would they stick to your content? Whether you're an artist, a festival, whether you AME, or you have a bakery, or you sell clothes, why you?
How do you differentiate from...
Exactly. The key is that they need to relate to your content. So what you have to do when you come out of here is go watch one full season of the Kardashians, and you will understand everything. Because they mastered that stuff.
That is true, and I thank you for that. I would like to pass the mic to Nick now. And me and Nick, we've always have conversation of what's next. And I remember when TEDx Praia happened, and you were mentioning how Cape Verde is a beta test.
Mentioned, right? It's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's WhatsApp, it's YouTube, etc. These are all publicly traded companies in the United States. Once you become a publicly traded company, which Spotify just did as well last week, there's now massive amount of pressure put on you in terms of revenue increases and growth on an ongoing basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis. What does that do? That drives the need for more revenue generation on their end, more income driven on their end. And that therefore drives more advertising on their end. So what happens is we're reaching a place now in the what we call emerged markets, right, which are the well-developed markets, where on Facebook, for example, we're reaching what's called ad load. Ad load means that you can only have a maximum of 35% of ads on your feed at any given point in time, right? And once Facebook surpasses that, they're now no longer providing valuable content to you that you're going to want to engage with. They're now just an ongoing commercial. So they understand that. So how do they resolve that issue? Right now there are about 2.2 billion users on Facebook. There are 7.2 billion people in the world. So they know clearly that the next step they absolutely have to take is to increase the population on Facebook. The question is, how do you do that when the majority of these countries, A, don't have the infrastructure to even have internet, and for some of those who do have internet, these what we call underdeveloped countries, majority of the population doesn't have enough money to have a smartphone, or what we call a feature phone, which is one level below a smartphone. So what they're now focusing in on is the emerging markets. Africa, Middle East, what we call EMEA. Those are the markets that they have all their eyes on right now. They are allocating budgets on a yearly basis just to these markets. Because they know moving forward, if they don't continue to grow at the rate that they've grown up until today, there's going to be a major issue as it relates to their ongoing investment, their ongoing growth, and their ongoing valuation, right? They want to have a long-term presence. Facebook doesn't want to be that MySpace that goes away. So what's happening now is they're coming to people like me who have a connection in not just Cape Verde, but in Africa in general, and looking at these artists who have massive reach in these countries because they know it's these guys who are the ones who are going to be able to convert those individuals over. How do you, A, get infrastructure, for example, into these emerging markets? How do you get low-cost feature phones into the hands of these individuals? So, a few of the things, for example, that Facebook is doing. Within the next few months, we're releasing what's called a flyover drone. But this drone is not the size of those drones that you're used to seeing. This is 2 wings of a 737 airplane that will fly over underdeveloped areas. Let's say, for example, Chung, where the volcano is in Fogo. There's almost zero possibility of getting internet access there and infrastructure. That drone will fly over that area, beaming down internet access. What does that mean? Now you have internet access to an area that maybe has a population of 300-400 people. So now you give them at least raw infrastructure. Now you give them a feature phone. You don't worry about them purchasing a phone because these devices are so low cost now. Now you give it to them, 400 more users on Facebook, for example, right? So what they're looking to do is to begin to leverage these types of technologies, but through different channels that have massive reach in Africa and the emerging markets, and it's coming through these guys. So something we're planning right now that we're talking is about building a, what we call Connect Africa Tour, where it's going to have sessions like this, but at night it's going to be massive concerts with African artists. But we're going to be relaying all the important information of how can you get online, what's the process, what are the next steps, what do you have to do, how do you get your feature phone, when will the online access come to you in these various different types of ways. So, more so than ever, it's important that we begin to divulge what they have been doing, what they're doing, and what they're going to be doing more so than ever. Something else I wanted to touch upon too as it relates to numbers. Something that we've all been focused in on is targets, goals, and numbers that we're reaching that we've never reached before. These two individuals sitting here right now, in 1 month, reached 1 million views on YouTube. Mariana, quickly 1 million for Djodje Nick. And so these types of things we're then utilizing to show the social platforms, hey, these are the numbers we're able to produce. And look where those numbers are coming from. So in terms of your question, this will drive not only funding, but drive careers that really didn't exist in Africa now moving forward.
Thank you. How important it is for you to be a Cape Verdean artist and tell your story and bring, I see you nowadays, this whole collab with Broader Music, and you guys are branching out to different artists. Is it a strategic move to tap into an artist? And if so, does their social presence helps in the decision of doing that?
Of course, the social presence it's an important thing. But for me, as I was telling, having Cape Verde with me is like you have a base, you know, because now when you arrive somewhere, okay, you can be a citizen of the world, but they will ask you, okay, where are you from, or who you are. That's the first thing. For me, representing Cape Verde is not where I'm from, but who I am. Because for you to be in the market and be different, you have to know who you are first. And only after you will know what your fans or the people following you wants from you. Of course, you have to give them more than what they want. You'll give them things that they didn't know they wanted. But you have to know your target, but before that you have to know yourself, know what you can do so you can build your contents. And we go back to the content, because if I have a spot, or Nelson has a spot, or Kaysha has a spot, or even I don't know, let's not talk about music, talk about a different industry. Okay, imagine you sell houses, but you have to know why they're going to buy the houses from you and not from a different, how do you say, in Portuguese you say imobiliária. Real, yeah, okay. Yes. So you have to know what makes you different for the client to come to you. Okay? So for me, that's why I have Cape Verde with me, because Cape Verde is who I am. It's not where I'm from, but it's who I am. And I know that, imagine, you said, I made recently a song with this big African superstar, let me say that. But the thing I noticed it's the first time he listened to the song, he didn't know me. He told me the story after. He didn't know me, he didn't know my name, and if he went to my Facebook, for him it's like, who is this guy? Because he has 4 million followers, I only have 120,000. So the first thing he felt was he loved the song, the thing I do. So for me, it's like he loved me, because I try to be real when I'm doing something. And of course, when I invited him, because I love what he does, I could I could have called another people, because there's a lot of famous people around there. But try to reach somebody that you like, and you know that probably he will connect with you. And so for me, it's the same thing I do with my fans. I like them because of what they do for me, and I try to connect with them. It's not, so you have to take time to take a photo, even if you're very tired after a show. You have to take time to see why they like you. Because we are, there's a lot of artists, man. A lot of companies, man. It's complicated. It's very complicated, and you can have a kid that will release a song and, how Kaysha said, have 10 million views in 1 month. But after that, if he doesn't know what the fans want, probably he will disappear the next month. So you have to be aware of what your crowd wants and try to provide it. That's what I do.
Because if you look from a sound perspective, and I'm a DJ, you see pop artists, global pop artists, approaching this sound. I mean, you see it, you hear it, you hear to a track, they be like, this sounds like Kizomba. Or something like Despacito, for example, you hear the strings, and it is, for us in Cape Verde, which are used to music, is so familiar. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Kizomba is becoming the new bachata or the new reggae as far as a genre that's becoming global. Do you agree with that? How do you see it, you perceive it?
I see good music as good music, and like you said, the way I approach my featurings is just, I tend to make good music for the people, and if I see somebody doing something good, I want to do something with him because I know it's going to be good. You know what I'm saying? And like our music, if you take the market that is right now, you can see that they're looking at us. If you take Drake, for example, One Dance, what is that? That's just our music. But Drake does it, and it's Drake, and it's special, and it's pop. Drake has the tendency to change music. But we've been doing that. We've been doing that for years. And that shows me that we are on a good path. We just gotta keep doing whatever it is that we're doing, and the main industry will pick up on it. Because if you listen to what's pop right now, all the beats, listen to the beats. It's our beats. It's our beats. So we, as artists, we're doing a good job. And Cape Verde is like, come on, there's so many great talents here. I mean, people need to stop and look whatever's going on just here, just in Cape Verde. I'm not saying Africa, because Africa right now is the shit.
It is.
Listen, we as artists, we as the government, we as the people need to stop and look at Cape Verde and support our own people, and we will go.
You mentioned something that's interesting about Drake, and I've read a couple of articles where they talk about this whole culture vulture type of perspective when they come in and they rap a certain genre or certain music and they flip it, they package it, they sell it, it becomes popular, and all of a sudden it's mainstream, it's global. Mr. Kaysha, what do you think about that? Because you've been in the game for a while. And
I'm not that old.
No, you're the porno star. So what is your take on that and your perspective? I've way back, I remember you've always bring this fusion into your music, and you are very diverse, from hip hop to Afro house, Afrobeat, Kizomba, even some soul mellow tracks. What is your perspective on that? Because you were one of the players, so how do you see it?
The glass is always half full or half empty. Take piracy, for example. When people discovered the MP3 and the internet and started pirating and downloading on Napster our music from everywhere in the world, everybody in Paris was running. Oh my God, we're gonna die. And me, I was, wow, they play my music in Brazil. Because to me, art always comes first. First you have the art, then you have the business, and the data. And when you are an artist, your goal, your only goal, is to have your art appreciated by people anywhere in the world. Whenever I hear, oh, I was in China, and I heard some of your songs, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But I know that it's impossible that they bought this song. But I always see the glass half full. I'm a positive person. When I see people that we call them culture vulture, I don't see it as something horrible. Because when Drake does One Dance, when Anita does Downtown, which is completely a Kizomba, it seems like I did that bit. I just feel, oh, they're coming. Woo. And then I feel, then I see all my catalog. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be able to sell this because they are teaching all these people from outside, from the USA, from Mexico, from Brazil. All these people are learning to appreciate something that is the cousin of our art, right? So what happens then is that, imagine you do apples. Imagine that in Cabo Verde is the only place where apples exist. And only Cabo Verdeans eat apples. Yeah, cool. You know, you're here with your apples, everybody's happy, everybody's selling apples and stuff. But every time you go to the USA with your apple, people are like, the fuck is this? Ew. No, we eat orange here. But then one day, Drake start doing...
Eating the apple?
No, not apples. Start doing something that looks like an apple. Let's say a pear. Start doing pears. And he's like, yeah, pears. You're gonna have a lot of people from Cabo Verde say, oh no, this is our stuff. And they're gonna be unhappy. But me, I'm gonna be like, this is almost an apple. So now next time, you go to the US with your apple, you'll be like, look, this looks like a pear. and then all of a sudden, they're like, nice. And this is how you penetrate the market. Because sometimes the market is not that they don't want your stuff, it's that they're not used to it, because humans are very simple. They're super complicated, but at the same time they're super simple. Humans, they like things that they can control, things that they understand, things that make them comfortable. Especially in these times, these troubled times, people more and more are going to stuff that they know. They want things that they know. And if you give them something square, and they used to think that are square, they're good. You give them something round, they don't understand, they're scared. So they're like, I don't know, I'm not sure. You always have some people that they want to try everything, but most people, they want something simple. And the big marketers, they know these things. So that's why when you have people from outside doing your music, then you like, okay, you have two solutions. You can be here and wait for them to arrive, but you might be eaten in the market. Because imagine if in 5 years, Kizomba becomes Latin music. We don't have the control on who calls music what. If you have 500 million people who decide that Kizomba is Latin music, what can you do? You're gonna yell? Nobody's gonna hear you. But at a point when they swallow the market, if you didn't do nothing, you're gonna be lost in the middle of everything. But when they are here, not far from you, you just do this, you change your music just a little bit. Not all your music, one song or two, to look like Despacito a bit. Then all of a sudden, the people who like Despacito, they're like, oh, this is like Despacito, because most people in the world are super simple. Us artists, and all of you here who are super intelligent, we like to say that, for example, if I tell you the number 2, you're gonna tell me, yeah, 0.10 plus 0.90 plus 0.25 plus 0.75 equals to wow. But most people, they only understand 1 plus 1 equals 2. Despacito is 1 plus 1 equals 2, equals a hit. Hit, you eat. Now, if you can do, sometimes you simplify your music just to have a larger audience, then you can keep your complicated music to yourself and to your people, and at the same time, attract more people to you. And this is a strategy that I've been doing over and over again. It works.
Thank you. So Nick, these gentlemen are doing their part, you know, with the music. How can we grab the orange, the apple, and the pear and make a fruit punch? And make a fruit punch to the point that we own the company that makes the fruit punch. You see? So, and like you said, you mentioned about Facebook, it's publicly traded. How can we be owners of our own content, our own creation? What is next? What do we need to build so that these artists have a placement?
So, excellent question. So first and foremost, as it relates to ownership, these are all very seasoned artists within the industry, including Djodje. Even though being younger in the industry, I think he's been able to kind of see, as it relates to ownership, what's important. So as it relates to their publishing ownership, I think they're all on the right path in that regard. But next, as you mentioned, is in fact the data, right? Going back to the point that I made earlier, you have to be cognizant as an artist of what you own. I fear for many people who will, sometimes when I speak at conferences, I'll drill this and I'm not sure they really get it, right? The time and energy that you're spending on social today, be it extremely important, you need to do what I call diversifying your social portfolio. In the same way, if you made an investment, you want to diversify your investments, you have to diversify your social portfolio. And the most valuable is the most difficult to get. That's the data, right? And when I say data, I mean the raw data. First name, last name, email address, location, gender, age. The raw data, not going into Facebook reports and looking at the reports, be it as they may, extremely valuable. But again, Facebook does not want you to have that. Google doesn't want you to have that, which owns YouTube. Microsoft doesn't want you to have that, right? Spotify does not want you to have that. So going back to how do we actually own the company that makes the fruit punch? Kaysha brought up a very good point. When we talk about apples and we look at pears that look like apples, this is a perfect example of artificial intelligence, which is what we're moving towards, right? We're moving towards complete digital transformation. You as an artist are in technology. A person who owns a restaurant down the street is in technology. A barbershop down the street is in technology. It's vital for you to understand, no matter what business you are in today, you are a technologist. And if you're not, become one tonight, immediately, right? Extremely important. So, to that point, as it relates to artificial intelligence, you're starting to see it. If you use Spotify, if you use Pandora, if you use any one of the music, Apple Music, you'll see that Djodje's song will come up on a particular playlist, then Nelson's will come up, then a Drake song will come up, then Sorry by Justin Bieber will come up. That's artificial intelligence, what's called machine learning, identifying that, hey, Nick listens to Nelson, but then he also listens to Djodje, but then he also listens to the Pears. He listened to Drake, he listened to that. So it's extremely important that, like Nelson said, we continue to do what we're doing as it relates to the artists. We continue to do what we're doing as it relates to digital, but we understand that we need full ownership. If Facebook shut the lights off tomorrow, what are you guys gonna do? We have to be clear, right? We have to put these things out there. Instagram goes out tomorrow, what are you gonna do? Will your career continue? Let that simmer, right? So I'll leave it right there. Ownership, 100%.
We have been, after years and years and years of i5, Facebook, MySpace, Snapchat, friends. We think these are real friends. They are more important than real life at a point. Some people, you know, we have a club called the Gentleman Club, me, Djodje, Nelson, and other artists. We sit down to dinner, and before we start talking, usually the first like 10, 15 minutes, we all here, but nobody's here. Because the food arrived, everybody. And we're here talking with people on WhatsApp, people on Instagram, looking, everybody's at the same time have a real life and a digital life. And the platforms, because they need their own currency, which is the million active user. How many people are on the platform is what is more important to them, because then they go to Wall Street and their actions make them money because of this. So what they do is the makers believe that the friends and the likes are more important than anything. But once they reach a critical mass and they now need to put advertising and in the platform to start making money, to prove to Wall Street that they are relevant, they start using the algorithm because there's too much content and they need to sort the content. And all of a sudden you can have 1 million people following you, but these people don't see. They don't see most of what you post. And you always receive message like, oh, this post has great engagement. If you want to have more people watching your post, why don't you pay some ads? Why don't you boost your thing? And this is where the platforms start failing you, because you start realizing that Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they don't work for you. They work for themselves, which is normal. They are businesses. But once you understand that, you start realizing that you must also, as he said, you must own your brand. Because you want to be able, like he said, if internet extension events, one day we wake up in the morning and there's no Instagram, there's no Snapchat, there's no YouTube, there's no Facebook. They all disappear one night. Nobody knows what happened. A lot of people will suicide themselves. Because all of a sudden they have no life. And some people will just be like, oh, I have no more life. I don't have no friends. I don't know nobody anymore. What am I going to do in dinners? I'm going to talk to people. Oh my God, they smell that. See? So, when you own your content, you own your data, and you own your brand, you can go back to just being here among people and have a conversation and have fun together, make songs and stuff. It's important to use them as tools, because they are tools for us, but you have to also understand that there's always this fight between us and them, where they use us, they give us free platforms, but you know, I miss the days where my fans were on Kaysha.com. Because on Kaysha.com, I could control everything. I would put, oh, new song to download, something going on, and the song will download millions from the people that I know. They follow me, and I can control that they follow me. When you're on a platform, when there's 10,000 people on the platform, you can do this momentum. But once you reach millions of people, you start being lost in the content, in the algorithm. Now you talk to algorithm. You don't talk to humans anymore. You talk to algorithms. So you put your song on Spotify, or you have a bakery, you put your new croissant that you did as a photo on Instagram, and you don't know who's going to see it. Because the people who follow you, when they look at their feed, the feed is not actually the last person who posts will see what you posted. It's, you post something, and then the algorithm will be, let me show it to this guy, and this guy, and this guy, because I know they like this music or croissant. And you have to really understand that, and you have to understand that it changes all the time. Every 6 months, they tweak it also, and you also have to tweak yourself. It became a very hard business, but at the same time, it's not that hard. If you become literate to that business, you have to evolve all the time. Where if you're an artist, if you have a bakery, a restaurant, if you have a festival, something, you have to understand that this changes all the time, and you have to change with it, and it's the only way to survive.
So just to add to what Kaysha's saying in terms of the algorithms, I just want to relay exactly how the Facebook algorithm works, because many times it's something that confuses people in terms of how you get your visibility. Every post that's posted, whether it's by an individual or by a business page, is rated on a scale from 1 to 2, but by decimal point. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 until it gets to 2. Okay? And the items that are closest to 2 mean that they are most relevant to you, the user who's on Facebook, at that given point in time. Okay? So if I go on and they know that I interact, as Kaysha said, a lot with my family and friends, etc. All of those posts that I've engaged with before are going to get a score higher to 2. This past February, due to complaints from users on the platform in regards to the amount of business-based information that they were seeing, once again, Facebook modified the algorithm such that today it's at its lowest rate ever in terms of the visibility that business pages are getting. So when I say business pages, it's a like page, as people say, right? So we see it today. I'm sure Djodje, Kaysha, Nelson, we all see it, right? When we're looking, and so for example, each one of them have a large number of followers. Nelson, 1 million, Kaysha, almost 1 million, hundreds of thousands for Djodje. And you'll see the reach. First we start at the reach. The reach is how many people physically saw it. Didn't engage, but saw it. That will be a ridiculously small number. Let's take a Nelson, 1 million, maybe 2,000 physically see it. Now, let's go back. He has 1 million followers. 500 people engaged with it. As far as I'm concerned, that's robbery. They're robbing you, right? So, so one thing you have to be cognizant of is if you're starting today, be well aware, don't spend too much time on that. Do not spend too much time on that because it's not going to get you far, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort from you. So keep in mind how that algorithm works. Understand it's already at its lowest that it's ever been. We are already modifying our strategies in terms of how we're going to be promoting, whether it be Nelson's initiatives moving forward or anyone up here, in terms of how we move that forward, because Instagram currently still has better engagement. Why? The numbers on Instagram are still lower than Facebook. It hasn't reached that mass amount of 2.2 billion users yet. So you'll see they're getting better results on Instagram today than they are getting on Facebook.
Exactly.
Now, right?
Now.
Which was not the case before. What does that mean? As the numbers continue to go up, as more users come on, more ads are going to come in, the algorithm's going to be tweaked. Welcome to the new Facebook Chapter 2.
Exactly.
So just want to relay that as well.
Nelson, what are the do's and don'ts of your social presence and social network?
Do's and don'ts. Well, the do's is to keep updating yourself. Like everybody has a cell phone, right? Everybody has, let's say, an iPhone or whatever. And every 1, 2, 3 months, you get an update, right? You have to update your phone, which means they updated something, which means you have to update whatever it is that you're doing. So that's a definite do. Update yourself. Keep reading what's going on, what's happening, what's changing. What do I need to change to help me, help yourself in whatever it is that you're selling, either it's croissants or pears or apples or music. Like, update yourself. Like, stay relevant. Like, don't be watching Kardashians the whole day, like Kaysha said. But you'll learn from the Kardashians. It's a big brand, it's a big business. That's a big do. What's a don't? A don't is also what Kaysha just mentioned. It's like, don't spend too much time in the algorithm and in the physical friends, but create real relationships with friends. Because real relationships will get you further. Like, sit down with people, have dinner, talk. Like, create bonds with people, which will help you in the future. You know what I'm saying? Will actually help you, for real. Like, not your fake friends when Facebook shuts it down and you have no more friends. Like, invest in real relationships. That's a big do.
Thank you. Starboy, what's your do's and don'ts?
I agree with Nelson, but I'd like to add something. I think we can never forget that we are here as human beings, but the people that are reading or listen to our music They are human beings. They are real people. So what I try to do is sometimes I try to picture the person that is reading the message I answer it. Like I imagine, okay, if she's or he is in his room or on the living room watching TV, and because I try not to forget that they are real people. So if someday we wake up and there's no Facebook, there's no YouTube, there's no, yeah, but I made a real person connect with what I'm doing. So I believe that the person, there's no Facebook, but this person will try to, okay, where is Djodje now? He's not on Facebook, he's not on Instagram because it doesn't exist anymore, but Djodje is still alive, still doing concert. So I try to connect with the people and be real. So for me that's a do. And the don't is don't get lost. Don't get lost with what your content is. I will make an example. Imagine you are a singer or an actor or whatever, and you have this cute little dog. And every time you post a picture of the dog, you have 1,000 likes, you have 2,000 likes. So you know that your crowd loves the dog pictures. But they are not there for the dog pictures. So this, okay, I said the dog, but it works with babies. Man, if you have a son or a daughter, yeah, you post a picture of your daughter, it's you'll do it tomorrow, after tomorrow, less. And people will start saying, hey, you don't sing anymore? Now all you do is post pictures from your daughter. Kay is a good example. Why? Kay have this beautiful princess. This beautiful. Hey, Kaysha's daughter has 10,000 followers. Yeah, 12,000. But hey, yeah, but you don't see.
Everybody works in the family.
Hey, slavery. No. But you don't see Kay getting lost on. Okay, I'll post pictures of my daughter or wherever. Yeah, he posts sometimes, but if you go to Kaysha's page, you see vlogs, music, something that are what the Kaysha followers wants to see. They want to see Kaysha the artist, not Kaysha the father. Okay, you have to have a little, to give a little bit of your personal life, but don't get lost. Don't forget that who follows you, it's because of your music, it's because of your work. That's me. Thank you.
At 5 a.m. today, you asked me to talk a lot. You do, it would be at a sacrament. Anyway, to what he says, I just want to add something that in the do's and don'ts, when you use social media to, for example, like I do, to put something that is extra from why people came to see you in the first place, you have to use it as an added value to your, because you also have to understand something. Some people came to your Instagram or your Facebook or your social media because they love your music. But when I post a picture of my daughter, there's a lot of women that don't know me. They come because the algorithm knows they love pictures of babies. And so they come and they look at all these photos of my daughter, like, oh my God, she's so beautiful, da, 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 da. Music. And then they hear, not that they hear, they didn't come for you, the artist, they came for your daughter. But then, okay, I post 2 more, and I leave it at that. From these posts, I may have 20 people that will follow me. Because they're gonna be like, oh, he's an amazing dad. But then, after that, they will stay. And when they stay, you try to make them love the rest of you.
You put it in an organic way, or just because Nick tell you to put your daughter?
No, I do everything organic. I try to have my Instagram be real. It is the real life. It is not something that I invented. It is, I'm not just like, as you said, you don't want to get lost. And you don't want to be lost, but at the same time, you don't want to be confined to you're an artist.
you see Facebook and all these social media platforms turn into is video. Either Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's all based in video image. And what is your take on that? And what do you use associated with your brand to have video in your social presence? So how important is video to you at this point?
Well, if I can take this, I'd say it's very important. It's again, it's content, and again, it's like it's the first thing that people see. Like, I take an example. My son, I put on a song on my computer, and the first thing he does is he goes in like this. And if there's no video, he's out. He's out. He wants to see what he's hearing. And that's the youth. That's where it's going. So for me, whenever I do like a video, I tend to...
What's the process, the thought process behind it?
The thought process behind the video, when I do a video, is like, it's a feeling. I'm trying to bring over a feeling. Like, I did this new song, Mariana, which some of you probably might have heard. I think Mariana's in the building today. The leading lady of my videos is right there. I mean, the song has a vibe. That vibe I'm trying to bring to the people. I sit with my crew, I sit with my team, and we talk about it. How do you feel? What do you see in this? And then I get the director, whichever director it is, that I feel is right for the song, and we make a video. Now, 99% of the time, it doesn't come out as I have it in my head. But then again, nobody knows what's in my head. People just see what they get. And it's very important. I try to make the best video for the song. Just express the feeling that it's given. But we need to have that content. These days, it's very important. The visual is very important.
So Djodje, you released a new video.
Yeah.
More than just explaining the thought process, there was a whole follow-up, a whole marketing behind it until you released the video. And then your video quickly reached a high mark.
Yeah.
So just different from Nelson, the perspective he brought, what is your perspective behind creating this momentum and this buzz until the video releases and it hits that margin?
I don't want to repeat myself or repeat what the guys already said, but it's content. Everything is content. Once Nelson told me something that I kept in my mind forever was Djodje. The music, I don't know if you remember, but he said the music, the video has to match the music. So because I was not that worried about the music video, but he told me something. If your music is good, your video has to be good. They have to walk together. So I understood that once it was very expensive to do music videos, but now it's not. It's not, because what you get in return, it's even it's better. So you have to invest a little bit. Now with your okay, I don't know if with the iPhone we can do it. Okay, if you are creative and okay, you can do a great video. But if you don't do videos, I think it's excuses. No, I can't do a video because it's very expensive. Like they said, the new generation, even us, we don't have patience. Like we used to have to listen to a song and wait for a month to see the video. We don't have that patience anymore. Now we have to see listen to the song and while we're watching the video. And what I felt it's like if you don't release a song with the video, when you release the video, hey,
it dies down.
It happened to me with the I Love You. It happens to me because I released the song, I had this video on my mind, but when the people saw the video, everybody was expecting something else.
Yeah, because they already
they already had their ideas. So the song has 8 million views and the video has 2 million. But I know if I release the song with the video, yeah. Because I already showed them that they don't have the space to create another thing. So yeah, so the video is very, very, very important. Even if it's a promo video, go to your rooftop and your house, shoot yourself. Shoot yourself on like that. Shoot a video of yourself. Okay,
that would make a great video.
It's creative. That's a billion views.
1 billion views.
Yeah, you understood what I wanted to say.
Just one more element that I wanted to add in relation to videos. Another thing that we do that's very important is when the videos are being released and the campaigns are now kind of migrating over to the release, we didn't talk about, as it relates to digital marketing and days of the week and times of the day.
Yeah.
Super, 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 super important. Cannot emphasize it enough. Specifically because, as I mentioned, as the visibility with the algorithms go down, you have to be so keen on exactly when you press publish on those elements, right? That's going to kick off. So if Nelson's releasing Mariana, George is releasing Djodje Nick, that initial spur of views gets that viral loop effect immediately.
Is there a rule or depends on the content?
So I'll tell you what we've learned, right, over the time of doing it. One thing you want to keep in mind is people are much more active over the weekend in terms of music in general. That's number one. During the night is key for that type of content. Also, keep in mind that during the day, people are consumed with their daily lives, work. Video has audio. They can't use their smartphone and put the audio on at their office because it's obvious that they're watching a video. So we are very, I mean, it sounds funny, but we are so particular on the exact day of the week and the time of the day that we post every element that we know is very important to something that we're trying to push forward. So keep that in mind. Days of the week, times of the day. And in terms of the ones,
what's the day?
Well, no, that was next. Yeah. So in terms of what those days are and what those times are, Mondays and Tuesdays, keep in mind of how you're feeling on a Monday and a Tuesday. You're down, you're tired, Osaka, the whole weekend just finished. Those are the worst days for visibility. As you progress forward, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday gets better. Depending upon what it is you're publishing also is important, right? So if you're releasing a music video, it's typically better in the evening, and we typically like to do it on a Friday usually, right? Yeah, typically on Fridays is what we've seen have the most effect. If we're releasing or publishing a video that's not a music video, but just a video of something that is in relation to an upcoming concert, in relation to an upcoming initiative, same thing holds suit, but it might not be on a Friday, it might be at a lunchtime, or it might be in the evening around 7 o'clock when the person is home, they're seated, they may not have had dinner yet, and they're able to use their smartphone in that particular kind of way. So, extremely important, days and times of the week, keep that in mind. And always look at the data, right? Because you'll always be able to see when you had that most engagement for those videos. So very, very important topic as well.
Thank you. So, Mr. Kaysha,
Yes.
why video? Why is it important?
We in the visual world now. It's just that, like everybody is watching video all the time, and there's something that you could have touched on. All of them now are not competing on post; they are competing on video. If you put a video on Facebook, for example, Facebook will put it way higher in engagement and visibility than just a photo. Because now the whole world is posting photos, videos. It works more. And when you were talking about the times, it is of course important that but you have to also think about something. We live in a world where we have countries, of course, but on the internet, there's no country. There's no time frame, because I have fans in Brazil, I have fans in Thailand, I have fans in Paris, I have fans in Praia.
There is a checkpoint.
So if I put at 7 p.m. now here in Praia, it's 9 p.m. in Lisbon, it's 9 p.m. in Kinshasa, but in Thailand it's 1 p.m. So you have to go to your own data and look who are the people. For example, I have 35% of the people on my YouTube that are in Paris, France. I have 18% in Lisbon,
and I have 2% in Bangkok, for example. So you look at this data and you see, okay, you can see on your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your YouTube, when the people who are following you are more engaged and are more on your socials. And then you can decide based on that and compare to what I said. But it's really, really important now that, so what I do as a video content producer is vlogs. I like to film everything. I've been filming everything forever. Right? Like this is one of my actions. Yeah, I've been filming and sharing a part of the day in forms of 10-minute vlogs, studio, family life, traveling, chilling, dining, and see what is interesting to the people. It's something I learned from the Kardashians, for real, is they film everything. We all say we hate it, but when we watch it, we stay 1 hour. Say, oh, that's so dumb, but we watch. And then, so, you know what? I love the Kardashians. Me too. And then, but when you look, yeah, but when you look at it as a businessman, when I look at the Kardashians, I'm amazed as a businessman as how everything is for sale. You go to a hotel somewhere in Thailand, there's going to be a moment that you're going to see the name of the hotel. They make it in the edit that it's not important, but it is, because a lot of these girls who are watching will be like, oh, I want to go to this hotel, I want to go to that now, and then they start booking. They will take a selfie with the thing that makes lights, the case, and then I see my girlfriend coming from the bedroom running. I want this. I'm like, what? So I go to the website, already sold out. So you see, it works. It's how you do all these synergies between your content and the things you want to sell, but you do it in a way that it's real, it feels real, it's not forced. You're not here like, oh yeah, and I'm here with my Zara shoes or something. No. You do it in a way where, if you look at the David Guetta video, for example, this is full of brands, but you never see it. But then if you look again on a video, you're gonna see that he arrives to the DJ booth and you just see the shoes for 1 second, doing this. And that's it. People will pay you for this. So what I'm doing now for my family, for example, I'm reaching out to hotels and resorts, and I tell them, look, I have 100,000 followers, I'm an artist. My wife is an influencer, she has 200,000 followers. My baby has 12,000 followers. Invite us. Invite us, and we will provide you nice photos of your hotel. We will tag you in the photos, and we will do some drone shots of your hotel, and I will vlog, she will do photos, and then I will call, I also run the business for her, I will call brands and tell brands, hey, we are going to Turk and Caicos, and we're gonna have this 7-week vacation, the family. If you want to sell hair, if you want to showcase your jacket, you want to send us stuff and pay us, and then it becomes a business. And you travel, and a lot of people now, they use this to travel for free. Exactly. Place product, and you use the video for this, because people are addicts of content. Nobody wakes up and doesn't want to know what's going on in the other side of the world. So you just understand how it works, and you try to use it to the advantage of whatever you're trying to sell, or whatever you're trying to push forward as a brand, as a festival, as an artist, as a bakery.
Kaysha, do you want to? 2-minute thing. So just in terms of influencer marketing, it's just something we didn't touch on quickly, but super, super effective as well. Think of the different people that you have in your network who may have more followers than you, and the impact that can have, right? So we've done certain things when we were promoting concerts where we had, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo had Nuda Linda playing in the background when he was playing with his son, and his son sang Nuda Linda, right? But it wasn't anything that was promoting Nelson Freitas, but people are like, either they knew the song and Cristiano's listening to it, or if they didn't, what's that song that he's listening to? So keep those things in mind. That's the influencer marketing that Kaysha was referring to, and the impact that has. Very, very impactful.
Thank you. Well, our time is very limited. And merci.
I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for being so patient. Everybody was really interested in what we had to say. And we all, I think we appreciate that very much. It's a big thing for us to come back to the country and share our experience, what we've been through. And we hope you've learned just a little bit of what we came to bring. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you.